Once your body has stopped withdrawing from nicotine and the brainwashing has been removed, you'll be more relaxed, less bored, better able to concentrate, and have more self-confidence. However, it's absolutely essential for you first to understand that cigarettes do not give you any genuine crutch. Imagine it's the morning of a visit to the dentist. This is a common stressful event for many people. If you don't find this stressful, just imagine another event that you do find stressful, such as a job interview or an important meeting. We're going to analyse the stress levels of a smoker, Jack, and a non-smoker, Ian, under these circumstances. For convenience, we will assume that they both feel equally stressed about the visit to the dentist, and we will ignore all other stresses in their lives. We will assume that their lives are identical in all ways, apart from the fact that one smokes and the other does not. Jack and Ian are suffering equal stress from the impending visit to the dentist. This stress is represented by the blue bar. But Jack hasn't smoked all night, and the little monster is demanding its fix. So he is suffering an additional layer of stress, represented by the red bar. Jack doesn't realise he has this extra stress caused by smoking. On the contrary, he believes that smoking relieves stress. When he lights up, he partially relieves the stress of the nicotine withdrawal. They're not allowed to smoke at the dentist. This doesn't bother Ian, but it does bother Jack, as he can no longer feed the little monster. The checkup goes fine for both Jack and Ian, and the stress they were suffering because of it has gone. But Jack's little monster is demanding its fix, so he's still uptight. Even when Jack lights up, he's less relaxed than Ian, because the cigarette only partially relieves the feeling. Be clear that the stress meter is merely meant to illustrate that the little monster will cause smokers to be more stressed and less relaxed at all times than if they were non-smokers. But remember that the true position is far worse. The real stress that smokers suffer is not the physical withdrawal itself. Fortunately, that's almost imperceptible, which is why it's easy to quit. But a far greater stress is caused by the frustration of wanting a cigarette and not being allowed to have one, just like not being allowed to scratch an itch. And at some of the most stressful periods in smokers' lives, like visits to hospitals and flying on planes, not to mention when they're at work, smokers aren't allowed to smoke. Also bear in mind that the general level of stress is increasingly being raised by the other disadvantages of smoking, such as the effects on your physical and mental well-being. In fact, smoking doesn't help you to cope with the stresses and strains of life. On the contrary, it causes the very stress that smokers believe it relieves. You're a slave to the little monster who's constantly demanding its nicotine fix and making you feel insecure. Many smokers reach the stage where they cannot perform simple mental or physical acts without first lighting up. The physical addiction has confirmed the illusions of the brainwashing. We believe we can't cope with life or enjoy life without cigarettes. The truth is that the only pleasure you get when you light up is to feel as relaxed as a non-smoker. Because you do feel better when you light up, you're fooled into believing that you get a genuine pleasure or crutch. Think of that panic feeling when you're getting low on cigarettes. Non-smokers don't suffer that feeling. It's the drug leaving the body that causes it. See it as it really is. The cigarette doesn't relieve the empty feeling. The first cigarette started it, and each subsequent cigarette has simply perpetuated it. So you've fallen into the trap of nicotine addiction. When do you think you fell into it? Let's go back to that first cigarette. As long as you weren't enjoying it, you thought, I won't get hooked. But you were hooked long before you realised.